Not from Los Angeles, California. Smokey Daze Haze. I'm Smokey Daze Haze, idiot savant of comedy. So most people just call me idiot, which is annoying because I have a first name for a reason. In high school, everyone would use my last name, so it's like, you know what I mean? Now that I want them to call me savant, they call me idiot. So it's like, you know what I mean? That's just how it is. My friends call me Daze Haze, but you can call me Smokey. I finally got a pickup line. I like to be honest, so you know what I mean? I figured I have a real honest pickup line, so it's like, why don't you dump the hero and get with the zero? Speaking of dumping people, this bullywug bumped into me at like a party once. Like, I was going there, I think it was like Leon and Bunny. This was like when we used to be on BBS's and, you know, like hanging out or whatever. And, you know, they had like a pool party of people over, whatever. So I don't know if I was stoned or tripping or whatever, but this friggin' bullywug like bumps into me, and it's almost like wrestling when you bump into a man, like you're gonna go down, you're gonna go backwards. So I don't know if he bumped into me and I pushed him, or he just bumped into me and, you know, he went backwards. So anyway, he's at like the cusp of the pool, like he almost fell in. So I was like, ah. And then all of a sudden it's like, yo man, bam! Pete just comes and he throws Jeff Knapp in the pool like with like all his clothes on. It was like so funny. He's like, Pete had a grudge because like he was over his house once, and Pete's like making a chicken cutlet in his frying pan, which I think is a little ballsy. You're in somebody's house and you're taking the chicken and you're making that food, but hey, Pete Gambino, he's gonna do what he wants, right? So Knapp gets really mad, and I'm thinking, oh, well, he must be mad because he's making the chicken, right? That's how, you know, that's reasonable. I'd be mad too. No! You used the wrong fork! It's ruined now! It's not kosher anymore! It's not the fork for the poultry, you idiot! This is the drawer for this, this is the drawer for that! So, you know what I mean? Pete was kind of mad at him, I think, so I think that's why he did it. So it's like pretty funny. And all his clothes are on, he had his beeper, he had everything, so he's so pissed off. For the longest time, until I was like in a chat once, I actually sent it in like a live stream, and then I finally realized the joke. You know, I was watching like King of the Hill, and it's like this guy Raymond J. Johnson Jr., and they had a thing called Hey Johnson. So, you know what I mean? He's like, you can call me Ray, and you can call me Jay, and you call me Ray J. but it doesn't have to call me Johnson. And, you know, Bobby's listening to the record over and over, trying to figure it out. He's asking people, and, you know, finally, so I finally figured it out. It's a joke. It's like a dick joke, because a Johnson's a dick. So it's like so stupid to me, you know what I mean? So it's like, I don't know, it makes no sense to me. So there was this game on the Commodore, Drink and Drown, where you go to bars and you try to get drunk. So, you know, people were trying to always out-drink me. They didn't believe that I could drink as much as I told them. So they would try to take me to bars. They'd always be buying me drinks. They'd always be trying to get me drunk. I don't really like to drink. That's why I don't like to drink. It takes a lot to get me drunk. So my friend has this crazy sister, Tracy, and she was like punching guys in the, you know, she punched guys in the mouth. And we always got along and stuff. So I went to a few bars, you know, and she brought me to, you know, she brought me drinks and stuff before, but we'll get to that like a little more. But so this guy's shameless, something like that. He tried to keep up drinking with me. He kept buying me drinks and stuff to try to get me drunk. So I had like 14 Long Island iced teas, just along with like 3 Alabama Slammers. This guy, friggin' Shaman, I heard like when he went home, he was like projectile vomiting so much that it actually hit the friggin' ceiling. So, you know, Tracy takes me to like 2 other bars, buys me like another 2 Alabama Slammers, or some mixed drinks, and some guy was like driving us, you know what I mean? So it's like really weird. You know, but we were hanging out, we always got along, so you know what I mean? I'm not going to complain about it. I'll talk more about that another time, more about her a bit, but so Carlin's brother would always get like wasted then and be like, you're a piece of shit. You know that? For people like hitting on his sister or just hanging out at the bars all night with. So, you know what I mean? So it's like, is there going to be fights, you know what I mean, if I go with this enemy? He wanted to fight me over a wrestling game once. It was like WCW versus the world or whatever. So I'm at a bar with him. I think I'm pretty lit. It might even be the same night when they bought me like the 14 Long Island iced teas and like the 3 Alabama Slammers. And this guy will call him Ducky. I think I knew him from high school. So he comes up to me, and you know, he kind of looks like Donald Duck, Daffy Duck, or Howard the Duck, I guess depending on what you know. So he comes up to me, and he's like, you know, he said something like he remembers me or something like that, or he knew who I was. So, dude, I get like really serious, and I'm like, you remember me in a good way or a bad way? You know, like, I think I was going to throw hands. He's like, oh, I remember you in a good way. And I'm like, oh, hey, man, whatever. I think Ducky, I think he was the guy, like, I was smoking his bowl once in, like, a class, like in that math class I talked about. I was, like, blowing hits out the window, and then, like, all the kids saw me and stuff. So, you know, that same kid, Carlin's, his sister Tracy, gives him, like, a scratch-off on his birthday or, like, some holiday and stuff. And it's like, you know, So he's like, he hits it, and I think it said like he won $10,000 or whatever, and he's all excited, like, oh my God, this is going to change everything, man, oh man. He's hugging his mom, he's talking to people, blah, blah, blah. And Tracy's like, look at the back, idiot, look at the back. So she gave him a fake scratch off, and he was all fit, she got him with that. So here's the reality: you grab the keys, people drinking at parties in the 90s, like, so this kid Soren, or Surak or something was his name, you know what I mean? He comes to me and he says, we're going to rush Mike and grab his keys because, they think he's drunk or he's drinking too much and stuff. And you know what I mean? So I'm like picturing almost like in heavy metal, where the guy's like, Stern, I'll destroy him, where he turns into like a Hulk type thing. And he's just beating people and pummeling people, you know what I mean? So like Mike would just be beating people down. Then even if you tackled him and you took him to the ground, eventually people are going to start leaving the party, they're going to get up, he's going to start beating some ass. So, but it's so funny, it's like, at least you could say you tried. I'm like, you know what? Why don't you just take something off his car so like it doesn't start? And that, maybe that'll work. So this kid Keith did Woodstock, and then there's like a big standoff. They almost fought over it, but it was pretty funny. But like there was always something with Mike. Like once he locked his keys in his Camaro, he had like a white Camaro, and I had like this little key thing on my keychain. I didn't, you know what I mean? So I actually was able to like open the lock for him and stuff. And then another time he was in the car with me, and you know what I mean? So I go to try to hit the brake, or like on the parkway, and all of a sudden it just freaking hits the thing. I'm like, uh-oh, we have no brakes, dude. It's gonna be kind of tough. So there was always something going on with Mike. So this kid, Paul evading, we call him Paul waiting. Like he kept talking and he wanted to fight him, he kept talking smack and shit. So you know what I mean? So it's like pretty funny. So then he's like, he's talking how he used to live in the city and we could go get drugs. Yo man, we'll go in my old neighborhood and we'll get drugs and shit. So you know what I mean? Like Mike says, alright, let's go. So Mike goes in the Camaro, it's like me, Mike, and Pete. And Mike was going to like leave him there, but like Pete was walking around. Paulie's just like walking up to people, and he's like fucking, like, hey man, you know where I get drugs and shit. So he was like totally lying, and then he's just walking up to strangers. There was always a story that like his mom like sewed his like freaking finger back on, like he cut off his fingers and his mom sewed it back. I don't know. He's a real asshole. Like he'd be drunk, he'd be yelling at girls in the street. He'd be like, you're white! Go home! Live with it! Because, they dress kind of hoodie or whatever. You know what I mean? He told people I got shot once and everyone was mad. He nearly picked a fight with this alcoholic, Dave Fox, who like supposedly was like a black belt and stuff. Once he called me up, he tried to get like counterfeit 20s or some crazy shit. This lunatic lied, dude, I hung up and said, don't fucking call me again, man. You're fucking nuts. Don't call me again. So, you know what I mean? I'm going to try to do some tongue twists because I don't have much time left, but let's see. How much ground would a groundhog hog if a groundhog could hog ground? If a groundhog would hog all the ground he could hog if a groundhog could hog ground. Now let's modify that. How much weed would a groundhog hog if a groundhog could hog weed? The groundhog would hog all the weed he could hog if a groundhog could hog weed. Again, how much weed would a weed hog hog if a weed hog could hog weed? A weed hog would hog all the weed a weed hog could hog if a groundhog we could hog hog. Woo! If you understood that, then you're amazing. Here's like a nursery rhyme for like the new generation. Fred fed Ted bread, and Ted fed Fred bread. Then Fred wed Ted bed, and Ted wed Fred red. Fred spread Ted like bread, then Ted got fucked red. And speaking of that, I used to have like the worst hemorrhoids like when I was like younger. And it'd be like Freddy Krueger was like coming out my ass and shit. So, I had to get like hemorrhoid surgery and all this other stuff. But like that's not the funny part. So it's like people tell me, like one guy's telling me if I smoke certain weed it can help him. One of my doctors says smoking weed can help. But whenever I smoke weed, it's always like I can't. I always like the few times I ever tried to smoke weed and shit, I just never could. You know what I mean? So it's like, and then another thing, if you smoke weed and you try, it's like, dude, I'm too lit, man. I'm too lit to shit. You know what I mean? Man, I'm too lit. I'm too lit. Too lit. Too lit to shit. I'm too lit. Too lit to shit, man. I'm too lit to shit. Too lit. Too lit to shit. So it's like, you know what I mean? You're too lit to shit, man. It's like, you know what I mean? People telling you to smoke weed and then you gotta try to shit. And you're on the toilet, you're too lit to shit. Kind of like Hammer, too legit to quit. So it's like too lit to shit. I'm too lit. I'm too lit to shit.